Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming. This is a Have You Played of Everdell, where we're thinking spring is here, so we're going to sit down and enjoy the gorgeous shade of the Evertree in Everdell. If you read the Redwall books as a child, or as an adult, there's no judgment here, then looking at Everdell will immediately invoke a Pavlovian response of nostalgia. There's just something about the way in which critters are illustrated so beautifully that harks back to that comfortable feeling of sitting down on an evening and preparing for an anthropomorphic adventure. If you've never read those books though, it's no hardship to appreciate the artwork of Everdell for what it is. That is, simply beautiful. The childish sense of awe isn't constricted to box art though, as Everdell is well known for its range of custom meeples. Across the base game and expansions, you'll have meeples for everything from otters to hedgehogs to a giant, well, for a meeple, moose, with pretty components sitting beneath the towering Evertree. A 3D cardboard construct that raises your game off of the tabletop board and into the skies. By the time you sit down to play it, you're already smiling, and that's before laying a single card. But what is it? Well, the time has come for new territories and cities to be built beneath the Evertree, and you're the critter for the job. From Everfrost to Belsong, your intention is to build up the very best settlement you can, made up of cards collected from the central board and placed in your own settlement that will earn you points. These points are how you'll ultimately seek to win the game. With your worker meeples ready, you'll be able to send them out to collect resources, points or cards each turn. It might be that you're collecting wood to meet the purchase price of a particular card, or the resin resource so that you might benefit in points. When all of your workers have been sent out and there's nothing further for you to do, you'll progress to the next season, receiving your workers back and obtaining even more from the Evertree. There are 4 seasons, and the choice to progress to the next season is independent. You may be out of moves before your fellow players, and may progress more quickly or slowly than the others. There's an argument to be had that this limits the faster players, where those can only wait while others complete to the game, but it's arguably refreshing instead, not to be waiting in the middle of the game or passing turns fruitlessly. Of course, this sounds simple at this stage, and indeed the basics are. Everdell is a worker placement tableau building game, and there are similarities with other games. However, an area it does particularly well in is layering on difficulty, so you don't realise the additional number of rules and requirements you've learned until you're crowing victory as a result of a point surge from an area your fellow players gave little attention. Because whilst you're gathering your resources to gain your critter and construction cards, you also need to consider where you can pick up additional points. Basic events use up a meeple, but if you meet the conditions of it, you can pick up more than just easy points. Special cards do so too, but keep your game fresh. The cards are shuffled, meaning you'll have different goals to work towards each time you play your game. You can play strategically or simply see what comes up. In this spirit, the resetting of the game gives you enough cards for it to feel like a new game each time. This is true also of forest cards, which are shuffled before play and can vary with each game. For example, a location on the board allows you to pick up 3 wood by sending a worker meeple to it, and the forest cards do the same. However, it may allow you to pick up harder to come by resources, let you pick up cards or even points, only to offer you potentially none of these leg ups in your next game. You'll need to adapt your intentions each time. Then you consider the cards. Again, as with the rest of the game, beautifully illustrated and hugely varied. You'll use these to build up your city, in which some will provide you resources or extra abilities. Some link to others, so for example, it's great to have both the husband and wife cards, both with the resources given and the additional points it represents. There are several cards that come in such pairs, but given the size of the deck, their appearance in the game is not certain, and so again your game varies with all options included, and you'll probably never play the same game twice. Winning the game comes down to the points you earn in your town, and the winner can sometimes be a surprise. Certainly, when that surprise winner is not you, you'll be shuffling the deck and looking for round 2. But why should you try it? The prettiness of the game is the reason you'll initially pick it up off the shelf, and the gameplay is why you'll keep coming back. To put it simply, it's fun. We may well be used to dry topics in board games that admittedly bring joy to an otherwise uninteresting theme, but this is an example of the opposite. A lovely concept paired with lovely artwork atop a game that stands up to the hype. This game could pass muster under a different theme, but this one, of Everdell, rich with history and lore, brings it to the forefront. The designers built a world and rich history around their Everdell creation. Not only does the rulebook instruct you on how to play the game, it offers you the history. Famed adventurer Corin Everdell discovered the hidden realm, and now they prosper under the shelter of the Evertree. It offers you songs, it gives you illustrations, down to the receipts for the general store that you then see in the game, letters from characters, and more. Shortly before the announcement of the latest expansion, the designers released a map of the wider world, showing the locations covered in the base and expanded games to be small parts of a bigger picture. You're so engaged with the world from the start that it would be hard not to love it. In terms of gameplay, Everdell is varied. That appeals to some and is a negative marker for others. There are so many cards that you may never see the same cards again, so for regular players, preferred methods to play may not be available to you. You may never find the matching card that you need or counted on, as you're unlikely to make your way through the whole deck in the duration of your game. Understandably, this can be seen as frustrating, but actually it's part of the joy. You'll have a brand new game every time you play. Plus, whilst this is in reference to the base game of Everdell, I'd be remiss not to mention how solid its expansions are. Each expansion offers something different in terms of gameplay and style, so you may only need one, or all. Although the recommendation is that you only play with one expansion each time, you can level up your game and take aspects of each, or all, which refresh the game each play even further. However, with or without the expansions, the game is varied delight, allowing you to reach for it again and again without any fatigue.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and also subscribe for more. If you want to see more right now though, head to tabletopgaming.co.uk for a wealth of features and news and interviews, all in the realm of tabletop gaming ready for you. Hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for watching.